What's up, guys? It's Ben from North Carolina. You know, I haven't been able to fly that much in the evenings because of so many summer storms, but this morning everything's perfect. So come join me on this flight. So the view this morning is absolutely stunning, with some fog layer on the ground, kind of highlighting all the contours. But I wasn't expecting much wind aloft. I think it's hit something like 7 or 8 miles an hour, but I am absolutely moving on a downwind leg. So let me go ahead and head off to the west, and then I'll know I'll be able to get home when I need to. Yeah, so I turned back to the west and I can kind of go into the wind for a little while, but it is just as beautiful looking this way because of all the shadows and that early morning light. Yeah, so I've got to say I'm not making much progress into the wind. So I will try to drop down a little bit and see if I can move it forward as I drop down, but that means I have to be particularly careful about having good outs in front of me.
So I do get the question from time to time, how high can a paramotor fly? And I guess there are a few different answers to that. But from a regulatory perspective, if we look at the rules from the FAA, paramotors and ultralights are not allowed to fly into Class A airspace, which is over 18,000 feet. But there are other limitations as well. The human body can only take so much. So physiologically, we can suffer from insufficient oxygen in our blood at altitude. This condition, known as hypoxia, can begin as low as 7,000 feet. Its impact may depend on for how long we are at altitude and how high we get. Certainly, by 26,000 feet, humans cannot survive without supplemental oxygen. Hypoxia is particularly dangerous to pilots because it has disorienting symptoms such as confusion, headaches, and dizziness. Paramotor pilots are also limited by their equipment. At higher altitudes, they may lose power and performance in their motor, also due to lower oxygen. But paramotor pilots do regularly fly over 10,000 feet, and the world record is roughly 25,000 feet. It's said that there are people who have even exceeded that level. So what else can I share about a high altitude flight? Well, practically speaking, if you wanted to fly to 10,000 feet or more, and your equipment allowed you to climb at a rate of 250 feet per minute, then it would take you at least 40 minutes to reach that level. So you would have to consider the amount of time it takes to climb, the amount of fuel that you would burn, colder temperatures, and faster moving aircraft around you.
Guys, while I'm doing this, reach down and tap that subscribe button so that you can join me on my next flight.
So while flights above 10,000 feet are possible, most paramotor pilots will never fly to 10,000 feet. The majority of flight time is actually under 1,000 feet. We love the capability to fly low and slow and explore the landscape and dip into fields. There's nothing quite like it. The USPPA suggests that pilots can maximize their own safety by flying above 200 feet. At this altitude, they'll avoid power lines, trees, and other obstructions. There is increased safety that comes with altitude. It gives the glider more of a chance to recover from a collapse, and it gives the pilot a better opportunity to get a clear deployment of reserve.
Okay. So I think I have a pretty good place that I'm going to fly today. There's a huge field over here to the south, and it's on the other side of some high voltage power lines. So I've never been over there. Let me go ahead and check it out and see what it's like. And it may be fun without getting too far away from the landing zone. smells really good down here. Various crops growing and all the water lately. Little bird up here with me. Stay away, bird. I'm actually making some progress now over the ground. I don't know if that's because my heading changed just slightly. Funny, I feel so peaceful right now as I'm coming in back to my familiar area. You can see my farm. I'm over the fields that I often fly over. The wind is steady and there's no turbulence and everything feels great. But I am going to go ahead and land, and the reason is that the strong winds that have been keeping me somewhat parked today are also likely to create a little bit of rotor coming over those trees there, turning into the wind. A little bit of turbulence right there, to be expected. Be expected. Now we're going to try to just drop in here. So it feels like we're coming in hot. I'm going to begin to flare and see if I can bleed that off. Yeah. And now I'm just beginning to realize that was flight number 30 for me, so that's a bit of a milestone. And yeah, I had some interesting conditions with somewhat stronger winds aloft, and definitely some rotor every time I dipped low, or certainly coming in for the landing. I think that my training and my experience is really paying off. I know what to expect and how to handle it, and yeah, that makes me more comfortable, and I'm feeling more and more competent. Guys, thanks for joining me on my flight today. If you enjoyed it, make sure to come back and join me on my next flight.